live stream. Hi, how you doing? My name is John Paul. Welcome to John Paul Music UK. In this live stream, we're going to be talking all about accessories and music accessories that you need or might need if you're using a Mac or you're using iOS. Excuse me. First of all, let's get a couple of things out of the way. My name is John Paul. Welcome. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me on all the socials, which is John Paul Music UK. I'm there on Facebook. I'm there on YouTube. I'm there on Twitter, Instagram, and lots of others as well. Also, if you want to support me and support the channel, you can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com, which is there. There's a link there. Obviously, that helps me and helps the channel out as well. The other thing as well is this video is sponsored, and it's sponsored by Restream Studio, and I'm actually using Restream Studio right now to bring up all these little decals. So if you want to join Restream, it's completely free and you can get access to Restream Studio. We have a link there, which is Restream Studio and then / John Paul Music UK $10. And what that means is that you can actually get $10 of Restream credit if you want to go up from the free one to the standard or the professional one. So that's all the bits that I'm going to talk about today with obviously promotions and stuff like that. And then what we're going to do as well is we're going to put the chat actually on the screen right now. And the reason we do that is we are looking at basically Restream Studio has a thing called Restream Chat. So whether you're talking to me on Facebook or you're talking to me on YouTube, we'll be able to see all the chats coming through. Trevor, good evening. I've not been able to put the chat up for that before you said hello. So good evening, welcome. And I've got a couple of products to show you this evening that we're going to show you and show you how why you would get them or why you would want them to work, whether you're using a music studio or if you're going mobile with the iPads. I mean, that new iPad they're talking about, oh my goodness, it looks amazing. And if you want to connect things, if you want to connect a microphone, a keyboard, you want to connect lots of different instruments together, maybe you want to stream live as a musician or a performer. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at a couple of things. So first of all, what I'd like to do is just bring up this. As I say to you before, this is a sponsored stream by Restream, the people who make Restream Studio, which is what I'm using right now, these lovely graphics that are going on in the background. And you can do that all. You can do the basics of Restream Studio for free, but if you go to the professional version, which is what I've got, you can take away all the branding, put your own branding in, which is what I've done up here and down there, and you can use it. So obviously have a look at that. The links are in the description as well for on both Facebook and also on YouTube. So let's get on with what we're going to talk about today. So my question to you, first of all, is a question about whether you use anything in the studio or if you're using something, you don't have a studio, you're just recording yourself maybe on an iPad or an iPhone and you want to just up the level, or even an Android device, or you're recording yourself on a computer and you need a couple of bits, bobs, adapters, or you're looking at live streaming and you're looking at a way you can actually live stream yourself where you've got lots of different parts. So the first thing I want to talk about is basically Apple adapters. So Apple adapters, if you're looking at iOS, specifically for iPad and iPhone, there are a couple of adapters you can get where you can plug stuff in to plug other things in. So if I want to plug in this keyboard, for example, this Arturia keyboard is USB. And obviously on the phones, you've got Lightning, which is the Lightning connector. And on the iPads, you've either got Lightning or the newer ones have got USB-C. So how do you connect it? Well, if it's a USB-C keyboard, you plug it straight into the USB-C. But if not, what you're going to need is you're going to need one of these. This is a Lightning to USB adapter. Now, Apple call it the camera adapter because the original design for this was to plug in a camera so you can move your photographs over. But any musician that knows how to use this, then you can actually plug your microphone, USB microphone in. You can plug an audio interface in, or I could plug in a keyboard, for example. So this is very, very useful. The reason why there is two available, there's a USB one and a USB 3 one. The USB 3 one is really useful because it actually comes with, and you can just see it there, there is the normal USB, and next door to that is Lightning. And what you can do is you can plug in the power. So you can keep it powered. The other thing as well is some audio interfaces actually take a lot of power, and if you plug it into a phone, for example, and then plug your audio interface in, it will say this device is drawing too much power, and it'll say that on the screen. So you need to plug that in. So that is very, very useful. You can obviously pick that up with Apple. The USB-C version of that is this. And this is a USB-C multi-port adapter, which gives you actually three things. It gives you USB-C, USB, and also HDMI as well. And that is very, very useful. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of products as well beyond that, which will up the game. So actually take it a stage further. further. And I'm going to start with one that I've actually used before, which is called Drive. So hello, by the way, if you're just joining us, I hope you're okay. Give it in the chat and it'll come up on the screen just over here, and you can say hi. And if you've got any questions, then please give me any questions regarding connecting to your devices or anything like that at all. Now, I got this a couple of years back on Kickstarter. This is called Hyperdrive. And Hyperdrive is basically a dongle which is USB-C, and you plug it into either an iPad or a Mac. And it gives you lots and lots of capability. Starting with, of course, for musicians, the other one is a headphone port, and that is very useful. So you've got the headphone port, you've got one USB-A, you've got your micro SD and SD card reader, and you've also got USB-C. By the way, all the things I'm going to show you today, there are links in the description box if you want to check them out. And yes, they do give me a little bit of money back. They are basically affiliate links, obviously at no cost to you, but I do have to let you know they are affiliated, so you can obviously check them out if you wish. And then at the top of this, it's also got HDMI. So right out the back, from this one to this one's got a lot more going for it, because you've got headphone port and you've also got the micro SD and the SD card reader as well. There's a problem with all these dongles though. All these dongles do a couple of things. We've got dongles here like this, and the problem you've got is when you plug them in, they kind of just hang off your iPad, or if you put on a MacBook, for example, if you plug this into the new MacBook, it kind of can either just sit there or hang if you've got the MacBook like raised up. So as you can see here, you may just be able to see this in the corner, I've got my iPad here plugged in, and I've got it on a case which is made by Moft, and what I've done is basically, you can see the cable just plugs in there. So if I was to just leave that there, and I put a dongle in, there's loads of cables hanging off it, and it's going to be really difficult to actually plug stuff in. Or what you'll find, certainly with this one, you can actually take this off. So you can unscrew it and you can plug it directly into the iPad. The problem with that is I can't use a case. So what the issue with that is, then obviously you have to leave it like that. You start plugging things in and it starts doing this. It starts bending, and I don't want to bend that cable. It is a flat cable, but I don't want to bend it too much. So what can we do? Well, there's a brand new product that's come out by 12 South, and 12 South have actually very graciously given me this product to show you, and it's called the Staygo. And what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to show you it like this. So this is the Staygo USB-C hub. I've never shown this on the channel before because I've only just got it, and thank you very much to 12 South for sending me this. There will be a full review on the channel soon about this and how it works, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring up my other camera. So what this does, there we go, sorry, I just managed to mute my own microphone. That was clever, wasn't it? So what this does is it basically gives you, let's just do that instead, and let me just, there we go. Cool, and we'll just take this off for now so you can see both of them. There we go. So what this does is it basically gives you the desktop and on the go. And there are 3 USB-A ports, as well as an Ethernet port, as well as 4K HDMI, and USB-C, and SD card, and micro SD. So this gives you loads, absolutely loads of connections. Now, why am I talking about this when I talked about the problem with these? The thing is that what this does is it gives you a meter-long cable to actually plug it in. And then what that does is once you've plugged it in, you can leave it there. The idea is it's designed to be flat, so flat on the table. And then you've got a meter-long cable. However, should you need to take this with you, built into the actual Staygo is a little cable for just like making it into a dongle, just exactly as you would. So you've got the option. So inside here, you've got a little bit of bump. I'm going to get rid of that. And then here is the meter-long cable, and this is another thing I really like about it. It's got like a right angle, so you got that one that plugs in there. You've got the right angle there, so you can plug into your iPad or your MacBook, and it can be really, really, really short in the sense of sort of like there. So you can plug it down, so the cable's already going down. It's not putting any extra weight on the device. And then it plugs into this. So this is the actual device itself. As you can see there, we've got the way you plug it in, and it passes through the power as well, which is really useful. And then on the side here, we've got HDMI, 3 USB-As, an Ethernet port, and USB-C out, so you can then plug in something else. So if you want to plug in another device directly, and you can do. And then you've got at the bottom there your SD card and micro SD card reader. But that's not all. And the trick up its sleeve is really cool. So you may have seen it already. So it's just there in the corner. You can pull this out, and it's a tiny little cable. So while you're on the go, you can actually make it into a dongle, and you can plug it in like that. So it just plugs in, and that is built in. So you can actually plug that in if you want to, or obviously if you want to leave that flat on the table, let me put that there for example. I could plug all my cables in, or plug it in over there out the way, and then plug this into the iPad or your Mac, and it's not cluttering up the place. I think that's really, really nice. There's little feet on the bottom there. I don't know if you can see that. So you've got like this Stego there, a little feet on there, so it's meant to be that way round. So I just wanted to show you that. It's really, really cool. I really like that idea. I'm going to do a full review of this. If obviously you want to see that, please give it a thumbs up and just let me know. I hope this is giving you some value, and give it a thumbs up if it is. If you're on Facebook, obviously give it a share as well. Share it out to people who might be interested, and they can come and join us this evening and watch this live stream. Right, let's get the box out of the way. So my question is, what do you use? What are you using for iOS or Mac musicians? Obviously, I'm not going to be talking about microphones, or I can do if you wish, but microphone's a microphone. You know, you've got obviously microphones for singing, you've got microphones for studio use. But you've also got audio interfaces. Now, audio interfaces being plugged in, it's a little bit of a changing game at the moment, because a lot of them are USB-A, and now they're going over to USB-C as well. But my one is the Focusrite 2i2, and the 3rd generation version of that is USB-C, but my one's USB-A, so it's a 2nd generation one. So I need to plug it into something else before it goes directly into an iPad. And I don't want to just plug it directly in, because I also want to plug in a keyboard. So if I want to plug in an audio interface and a keyboard, I'm going to need some kind of dongle. So I could probably get away with that one, because I could plug one into there and one to there. But also, you might want to plug in a little bit more. So with that in mind, what I've got as well, and I've reviewed this on the channel as well, and this is a very, very cheap USB-C to USB dongle. This thing is £12 in the UK, so it's around about £12-13, and it is actually metal. I thought it was plastic when I actually reviewed it, but it's actually metal. I was having a closer look at it, and they're all USB 3, which is really great. It's really fast, and I can't believe it's 12 quid if I'm honest. So USB-C on the side, so I could plug that into the iPad or my MacBook, and then you can plug in multiple devices there as well. One thing to bear in mind, obviously, though, is if you more that you plug in, so if I plugged in the Arturia, for example, it would take a lot of power. So it would drain the iPad quite quickly, and then there's no real way to power up the iPad while this is plugged in. But it's a great little get-out clause if you need it for an hour or two. It's a really great option, because you could plug in a hard drive, your keyboard, an audio interface, and something else, a pen drive maybe, something like that. So £12, obviously the link's in the description. If you want to check that out, you can do. The next one I wanted to show you and talk to you about basically is, where are we? There was the USB-C hub. Is something I actually brought up a little while ago, and we did a video all about the beginner's streaming bundle, and I created this thing, and there's a link which is called goes to kit.co, and it gives you all the information of everything we talked about in that video. But the main device out of that is a USB mixer. So the difference between an audio interface and a USB mixer is basically down to the amount of quality that goes into the device, but also with a audio interface, you're more looking about sort of how you can plug in a microphone and a guitar, things like that. But then also you want to plug in to left and right, or it's mono, and then the software you're using to record it, you would then mix it, record it, and then mix it. Okay, that makes sense. With a USB mixer, so this is the Behringer It's got a lovely name. Xenix Q802 USB. Now, this on somewhere like tonum.com or Amazon, it's around about £49. So under £50, and then you can get yourself going where plugging in. This is more as if you're going to be doing stuff live. So imagine plugging into a mixer live, and then you've got your main outs. I don't know why I'm pointing at myself because I need you to see it. So you've got your main outs going out to a speaker, and that's fine. You've even got send effects, so you could send stuff out to effects, so you can hear things back to a monitor, for example, and then you've got a send effect volume. You've got your phones there, and then finally on the back, it is power and USB. Now, just be aware, this is USB 2, and it only sends a stereo channel out. So literally a left and a right of everything you plug in. So you could plug in 2 microphones. You could plug in a couple of keyboards. Maybe you could plug in a guitar. The first 2 have a preamp and also a compressor on board, which is impressive for the fact you've got a built-in compressor, which is really cool. And you can monitor the mix, and I would say this is great for live use, and then obviously you can plug in. Now, what I've got right now is I've got this microphone plugged into the Focusrite 2i2 into the computer, and I'm using Restream Studio, and that sorts itself out, and that's fine. But if you're plugging that in on one side and plug the guitar on the other, the vocal would come out the left, and the guitar would come out the right. So if someone on headphones, it'd sound really weird, or you'd only be coming out one side when you're doing live streaming. With this, what you're doing is you're plugging everything in, and then you're sending a stereo feed out to the live stream, which is great. So if there's a couple of you, there's a 502, by the way, which is 5 channels. So this is 8 channels. The 502, I think, is even cheaper. So it's around about 35 quid, 40 quid. So that's really, really good. And you can basically plug that in, and you've got more control. So, for example, you can mix the low, the mid, and the high, where you can't do that on an audio interface. It just takes the feed in. You'd have to do that with software, which then puts more stress on the computer you may be using, or if you're using an iPhone or an Android device, you probably wouldn't be able to control the sound of the mix, where with this you can. So you're controlling it as if you're doing a live gig, and then plug these out to the speakers, and then plug your USB in to your device. Now, of course, remember, it's USB, so you're going to need some kind of adapter. So again, going back to something like this is the Lightning to USB, plug the USB in there, and then plug that in to keep the phone charged. If you're going to be live streaming for 6 hours, then the phone's going to die. So you're going to need to keep it charged whilst you're live streaming, which is good. This has its own power. It's not battery powered or anything like that. You have to plug it into power, but it has an adapter, like a power transformer that you can use. So if you've got any questions regarding any of this gear, I know I've gone over quite a few of them very, very quickly, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over them again if you've got questions about them. So I'll literally just on this side here, you'll see what says Restream.io. Messages from the audience will be displayed here. So if you want to give me a thumbs up or a chat or a hello, you're welcome to speak to me. I'll answer any questions, obviously, regarding connections. And the other connection I want to talk to you about today is storage. I'm just going to have a quick drink. There we go. Now, storage, obviously, on your device is really, really important. And it's one of those things where certainly if you're filming yourself for going up to Facebook or YouTube or anything like that, then you can actually then fill up a device really, really quickly. So my iPad, for example, is 256 gig iPad. I'm really, really happy I've had it. I've had it for a couple of years, and it's amazing. It's an amazing piece of kit. However, if I do too many projects, for example, or like whether I'm recording myself on GarageBand, filming or anything like that, it gets filled pretty quick, and footage like that can fill pretty quickly. So what you need is some kind of hard drive. Now, the great thing is with the latest versions of iOS, you can plug in a hard drive both to iPhone and iPad. And if you're using one of the newer iPads, like the new iPad Air or the Pros, then they use USB-C. Now, loads of people, when you look on YouTube and you Google a hard drive for iPad, everyone talks about the Samsung T5, and the Samsung T5 is a tiny little device. It's really quick and it's really good. Not doubting it at all. It's really expensive. So that's the thing is, it's a really premium product. I get that, but also at the same time, it's really, really expensive. So I'm going to bring in a different one, which is this one. And I've been using this for, I think, close on to 18 months, maybe 2 years now, I think 18 months. And this is, you can see the size of it. It is literally tiny. And this is the 1 terabyte. It's called the X8 and it's made by Crucial. And Crucial actually make this, and if you don't know who Crucial are, they're the people who make things like they make SSDs to go in your computer, or they make RAM as well. They're really known for RAM. But this is the Crucial X8, and this is a 1 terabyte portable SSD. Now, there's loads of portable SSDs out there. What makes this really, really unique is it's over 1,000 megabytes read-write speed. So it's literally over 1,000 megabytes read-write speed under USB-C, and it has USB-C cable with it. You can get it comes with a little adapter to plug it into USB-A if you need to. But plugging this into something like an iPad is really, really quick and really easy, and it transfers super, super quick. Now, when I say about the Samsung T5, just go and look at the prices, and then this comes in at £140. So the price of hard drives is dropping all the time. So this is really, really good. I've got a link in the description box if you want to go and check this one out. And there is a X8, which is the fastest one, and then I do an X6, slightly slower, but it's a lot cheaper. So if you're storing stuff, get the X6, and it's really, really good. If you want to move stuff to and from, then obviously the X8 is really good as well. If you're doing any kind of video editing, if you're editing, maybe you've made a music video and you want to edit stuff, I use on an iPad, I use an app called LumaFusion. And it's the closest thing, sort of pro editing on an iPad, the closest thing to Premiere or Final Cut that you can get on an iPad. And LumaFusion have already announced the 2.5 update, that's version 2.5, and it's coming in June. And it's a free update, and they have said that basically you'll be able to edit off a hard drive directly. So imagine you've made a video, and you've got all the footage, and you get it all onto this hard drive. You don't have to put it onto the iPad to edit it. That's going to be an absolute game changer for people who make music videos, or you make tutorial videos, or anything like that at all. So if you're doing like teaching like how to play keyboards, or you're teaching how to play guitar, this is a fantastic thing, certainly if you're going to be editing. And obviously if you edit on iPad, it's literally so quick. And I'm not really here to talk about film editing. Obviously my channel is mainly about music, but just to dive into that for a second, every video I've done for the past 2 years has been edited on LumaFusion with an iPad. I've not edited on a Mac, and this has been an absolute game changer for me, and it's going to change the game again when they bring out that update. Anyway, I just wanted to drop that in because I think it's a real big win, which is really good. If you're just joining us here, thank you very much for coming in. My name is JP. And my channel is Jump On Music UK, and we talk about music tech, live looping, live streaming, and this one is all about iOS and Mac musicians and plugging in accessories. So we're going to go over them again. We're going to go over them more than once so you guys won't miss out. And if you've got any questions, you'll see here on this side is basically the Restream chat. So if you give me a hello, you give me a chat, you'll be able to basically speak to me there, and I'll be able to say hello. No matter where you are, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, because we're restreaming over to 5 different channels at the moment. So we're basically streaming out so everyone can watch. Now, another piece of kit that I'm going to show you is a piece of kit that's currently on Kickstarter, and you can order it. I was very lucky to get in there before the countdown clicked in, and I only got it about 2 weeks ago. And this is called the Genki Shadowcast. Now, it's actually promoted towards gamers, but for people who want to do live streaming, this is a really cool thing. Certainly if you're a musician, you want to do live streaming, this is a really cool thing. And here it is. So this is the Shadowcast. It's a console laptop link. Now it says at the top there, you can say play game console. Now I want to play games anyway, if I'm honest, but play game consoles on your laptop. So you can compatible with Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, and more. And it's the and more bit I'm going to get to in a minute. It's basically a dongle, and it's HDMI out to USB-C, and it's a tiny little dongle. It's HDMI out to USB-C, and made by this company called Genki. And as I say, you can order it. I've put the link in for the Kickstarter, but then that gives you a link to their website. I'm not sponsored by them. That's not an affiliate link. I just want to show you this because it's cool. And literally, that's it. It's literally a HDMI to USB-C adapter. And you'd think, well, what's the difference? What's the point in that? Well, it's not just that adapter. What it does is you have it with a cable. And again, this is a nice threaded cable with a sort of a right angle, left angle, depending on which way you put it. And it's an adapter for that. So imagine, for example, I want to plug in my Nintendo Switch. And I've got my MacBook, MacBook Air or MacBook Pro. I can plug in that into there, and I can plug it into the MacBook, and they have a piece of software which you download from the Mac App Store, and it gives it a shell on the window. So you can literally just, on your screen, you'll end up with a blank window. And when you plug this in, you'll then see the output of that on your screen. You might kind of be guessing where I'm going with this, because when it says "and more," this is going to be absolutely valuable if you're doing live streaming. The problem with live streaming with an iPhone or with an iPad, anything like that, is the size. And certainly for anyone who's doing live streaming like this, for example, sorry, I just knocked the microphone. If you're doing live streaming right now, I can see a chat right here and everything else. But if I'm back there playing, so you can see everything, and people are commenting, and I haven't got it all blown up, or if I'm doing an iPhone, you want to use the good camera, and the good camera is obviously on the back, so I can't see the chat. So what people have been doing recently is actually using something like this and plugging the HDMI into a telly. That's great, but then what if you haven't got a telly? What if you're out and about, but you've got your MacBook? What you can do is you could plug that into the MacBook and see what the camera sees, which would include things like Facebook Live, YouTube Live, all the streaming chat, and you could literally see a mirror of that, which I think is really, really cool. It's a really great idea. The other option you could do with it as well is you could literally just pair your iPad up to your computer, and you could see your iPad screen on the computer. You can't interact with it on the computer, it's just like a viewing platform, but that means you've literally got a bigger window to play with. The downside of this, there's only one, which is the output is 1080p and no higher. However, what do you need it for? You know, if you're looking at 4K footage and you're doing 4K, I don't even do 4K streaming. We go 1080 as a max on Restream Studio, and when I'm using OBS, it's 720. It's only because Restream Studio can push 1080 out at the limit that it can, because it's all through its own web browser, which is really, really cool. Or sorry, through a web browser, which is really, really cool. So that is the Shadowcast by Genki. It's a cool little device, and I think it was about 30-ish pounds, 35 pounds. So to connect you through to a bigger device, or you could connect your iPad up to your telly, or connect your iPad up to your Mac. You need the software on the computer to be able to do it. I can't put this in while talking to you, I'm just going to put it down. So there's loads of great ideas with that. So if you've got, like I say, a laptop, it doesn't have to be a Mac, it can be a PC as well. You can download Genki software, and then you've got an iPad you want to stream or an iPhone you want to stream from there, but you've got a computer, just want a bigger screen just to see the chat back, for example. That's a really great option. So that is the Genki Shadowcast. Another great option is by using Restream. So this is a sponsored sponsored live stream, thank you very much, by Restream. And there's a link which is on the screen now. It's also in the description box below. And I am not using any software right now. And there's a phone here. This is a phone. This is an iPhone 10, which is plugged into my computer, which is here. And then I've got another phone just here if I want to put something on the table and show you. And that is it. And I'm just using Chrome and the Chrome browser. I'm not using any software on the computer whatsoever, and this is using Restream Studio. Now, Restream Studio is completely free. You can use it completely free to do live streaming. It's compatible with Zoom. It's compatible with OBS. So, for example, imagine you're doing guitar tutorials. You can plug in an audio interface. It recognizes an audio interface. That's how I've got this microphone working at the moment. And you can plug the audio interface into your computer, boot up Chrome, go to restream.io, and then log in, and that you get this. Now, these certain features I'm using right now are on the professional version. The Restream Studio, the basic Restream Studio, is free. 100% free. There is some branding that goes on there, but it doesn't look like much. If you want to remove that branding, you can go up to the professional version. And with the standard version, you can go over to things like Facebook groups and you can record the stream as well. So if you then want to record it and send it to someone, like, as I say you're doing guitar tutorial, you can plug your guitar in, plug your microphone in, and you can do this like live, which is really, really great. Or you could do it straight to Zoom, for example, so it's compatible with Zoom, so you can push that through. So you can even push this stream through to a private RTMP link, if you know what that is, and then that will go straight out to that, so it's completely private if you want it to be. You can restream to loads of different places. There are over 30 different platforms, and including obviously Facebook and YouTube and all the major hitters like Twitch and loads of others as well. They're even doing it now to LinkedIn, which is new. LinkedIn was trialing live streaming for a little while, and now they're here for it. So if you do want to have a look at that and obviously speak to us with that you can literally click that link, and what that does, it gives you $10 of Restream credit. So if you do want to go up one, you can just stay on the free one forever. It's entirely up to you, and use the free one. But if you did want to go up to the standard or the professional, then it just makes it a little bit cheaper for you for the first month, because it gives you $10. So there we go. So please, obviously, guys, I can see you're here. Please say hello, and obviously let me know if there's anything you want me to talk about regarding obviously accessories and plugging in to iOS or Mac. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move these around. Now you can see there's some like graphics going on in the background. I can change these, so I can change it over to maybe something like this. I can have it static. Well, the last restream I did was just like this, but I quite like this one now. I think it's quite nice. And I've got this in a bit of a way now where you can see the chat. I could get rid of the chat completely and then bring it back again. But I've just keep it like this because that way you guys can communicate with each other as well as communicating with me. So we're talking about connecting all your stuff to iOS and Mac, and also any further away from that, you can obviously plug it in. Now, the big one for musicians is an audio interface. I use the Focusrite 2i2, and I've also got an old one you can't get anymore, which is a Alesis IO hub, and I've got that strapped to a mic stand, and I use that with the phone if I'm going to do a little bit of phone looping with like Loopy or Quantaloop or something like that. And that's a really old USB 2 audio interface. You can't get that anymore. They discontinued it. But there's so many new audio interfaces out there in the world now, and they are really cheap, and they're better quality than the one I've got, and they are cheaper. So definitely worth having a look at loads of different audio interfaces out there. There's loads of different companies out there. I've been really interested in the Moto M2 and the M4, if you know what that is, and also the Audient audio interfaces. They're really, really interesting. So there we go. Hello there. Is there a difference in latency? Hannah, good evening. Is there a difference in latency or lag with different dongles? It's a very good question. So it's all down to speed. So let me show you. For example, if you, for example, on an iPhone, you're going to get this. This is USB 3, whereas there is a version of this which literally looks a little bit thinner, and that's USB 2. So if you're using a USB 3 or something that needs that kind of speed, and you use the USB 2 one, yes, the USB 2 one will be slower, but also at the same time, it might not actually work because the original idea for that dongle is literally just for a camera, and of course the camera has its own power. If you plug an audio interface, what you normally see is this device is drawing too much power, because a lot of devices, so my Focusrite 2i2, if I don't plug in the power, which is that one there, by the way, which is your lightning connector, it's that connector, your normal charging port, plug that in and it'll give power to both the phone and the audio interface at the same time. So yes, there is a difference in lag. So things like the hyperdrive, obviously that is USB-C, and that's USB-C is a standard, which you've got USB 3. And then also the same connection now is being used for Thunderbolt, and Thunderbolt is going to be on the brand new iPad Pros. So this will run up to USB 3 speed, but the new iPad Pro can run up to Thunderbolt speed, if that makes sense. But it's the same connection. Whereas this, for example, this can run up to 1,000 megabytes read-write speed. This is a hard drive, and I still can't believe how small it is, even though I've had it for way over 18 months. It's tiny. It's smaller than my Magic Mouse, and it's smaller than the mouse. and it holds a terabyte. So yes, it does make a difference. So for example, with something like this is our Behringer Q802 USB. It's USB 2. So it is only USB 2, and that's what keeps the price down. But you can get other ones that are USB 3, and that one, the reason why it's cheap is because it will only give out a stereo signal no matter how many things you got plugged in. So it literally pumps out a left and a right, that's it. Now you can get mixers that will actually bring out, through USB 3, it will bring out all the channels separately. So you can actually then put that into a digital audio workstation. It will boot through all the channels completely separately, and then you can mix them and things like that. But you can do that with a mixer that's got that interface. Does that make sense? So this will only give you a stereo out, whereas other mixers you can get where the USB is faster, because it will then give you more things, like it can do each individual channel separately. However, they cost a lot more. So the whole point of me getting that one was a video I did called the Beginner's Streaming Bundle. And it's just to get you started, because we have lots of people asking. I lose the tiny SSD within 2 minutes. Yeah, that's it. It stays normally in my bag, so where I normally have stuff for editing and stuff, or storing stuff, or I've got little drawers just over here, and it'll stay in these drawers. Not the big ones here. I've got tiny little ones which are just over there. And yeah, it'll either stay there or stay in my bags. It only lives in 2 places. If I took it out and about with me, it's in the back, and I know which pocket it's in as well. So I'm one of those people that's got to be in that pocket before it leaves the house. So otherwise, yes, I'm exactly the same. If it's not there, if I don't be like that, I will lose it as well. So yeah, gone are the days when I have hard drives that are that big, big hard drives that actually take a lot of power to do in 2021. Not very much. They're not very, very fast, whereas these things are ridiculously fast. Things like this, and as I said before, the Samsung T5 is, about this size, and really fast as well, but that one's a little bit more expensive. This one's a bit cheaper. So all the products that are on this little side table, by the way, it's not a table, it's a lot of my acoustic foam that I'm going to be putting up soon. I've just stacked it up to make it a little table. All of that is going to, obviously, all the links for those products are on the description box if you want to check them out. And yes, they are affiliate links. So I do obviously get some money if you do get them, but obviously at no cost to you. So let's talk about how you could set yourself up for recording, for example. Now, a little while ago, back in, I would like to say, I think it was January of last year, we did a video all about how you can record yourself from idea to release. It's a 5-part video with an extra one just to show you how I mix stuff, where I don't talk, it's just me mixing. And it's a 5-part video going from the idea in your head, the song in your head, right through to bringing it out to somewhere basically like Apple Music, Spotify, all that kind of stuff. And it was all done on iPad. There was not a computer in sight apart from when we uploaded it to DistroKid, which is who I used for basically making the music. And that song is still there. You can go and check that song out, which is called You and Me by John Paul. And we use GarageBand predominantly to do it. But you would have seen me plugging in the other keyboard I have, which is just in the corner there, which is my Juno DI, because I didn't have this one at the time. And plug that in, and again, that's USB 2, so we'll plug it into the iPad. So I needed a couple of different things. I needed to plug in a microphone, which I'd need an audio interface for, or a USB microphone, and plug in a keyboard so I could play the parts. So I predominantly used this, and this is called the Hyperdrive. Now, I did a video about this, and Hyperdrive, I got this on a Kickstarter ages ago. So that's it there, the Hyperdrive. Now, they actually, I think their website is Hypershop. And that is headphone out, which is great because I can mix stuff without having to plug in an entire audio interface. USB-A, one USB-A, that I was trying to say. SD card readers, and then USB-C back. So you get the USB-C back so you don't lose it. And then also HDMI. So I was able to plug in my audio interface into that when I needed to sing stuff. And then I'd unplug that and then plug in the piano or the keyboard into the same port when I wanted to use the piano. And that's grand. But what if you want to do it all together? What if you want to plug in the microphone, the audio interface, and this, and a hard drive as well? Well, that's why I've just been talking about this, and this is something that I've just been sent by 12 South, and I think it's really, really cool. I'm going to do a full review of it on the channel in a couple of weeks' time. And this is called the Stego USB-C hub. It's made by 12 South. They're the people who make like the high rise to make your Mac a little bit higher and the little elevators. They used to make a thing called the book, where you put your phone or your laptop, and it makes it look like a book, so it's like really inconspicuous. So they make loads of accessories, and they're really cool. And they've graciously sent me this for review. And the idea of it is that you get 4K HDMI. That's fine, but you get 3 USB-A's. Do you see them there? You got 3 different USB-A's and the USB-C and Ethernet as well. So if you want to plug into the internet for a hardwired connection, and you get the micro SD and SD card readers as well. So it basically takes the hyperdrive and takes it up a notch. But it doesn't stop there, because what they've done is sound like some kind of promotional tool. It doesn't stop there. Buy it today. So that's it. That's the actual product, and it's got little feet. And what you can do is it's meant to be that way round. And then the idea is that you plug this into the computer. The problem with dongles like this, and I just explained this right at the very beginning of the stream, the problem with dongles like this is they're dongles. They actually hang off the end of your iPad, and that's fine like that. When you start putting stuff in, it starts doing this, starts hanging off. It looks really like a spider's web on the end of your iPad or your iPhone or your computer or your Mac. The idea with this is it comes with a 1 meter USB-C cable that you plug in. So you plug all your stuff into that and put it to one side, so it's actually out the way, and then you've got one cable going from there to your device, and it's a lot cleaner. However, should you need to be on the go, this actually has built into it a tiny little dongle cable, and it actually sits inside it, which is really cool. And I really love that, because yeah, just on Hannah's point, where you lose stuff, I lose cables like that, like little cable that you might need. So yeah, you've got the meter long cable. Imagine if you took this with you and you forgot that, the cable's inside. So there's a little tiny little cable inside, and just from a profile point of view in your bag, so you got that against that. Okay, so that's taller, and you got the dongle there, or if you went that way, that sticks out. So this is really neat, really, really tidy. And then you've got the cable there, which is a right angle cable or left angle cable, whichever way you want to look at it. No worries, Hannah. Nice to see you. Hope you're okay. Have a good rest of your weekend. So this is really cool, because obviously I can plug that in there like that, and then obviously this cable I can just extend and plug it into my iPad, and it doesn't hang off the end of the iPad. It doesn't drag the iPad down, and it just basically plugs in at a right angle. So really useful. Full review coming soon on the channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel, then please have a look at my channel. We do everything from music tech to live streaming to live looping, all that advice. And if you do find that useful, then give this a thumbs up, and then obviously then YouTube will start recommending more videos that I've done to you. If you do like all my videos, then obviously look at subscribing to the channel as well. There's the selfless plug out of the way. If you do want to support me a little bit further, you can do. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/JohnPaulMusicUK. Also, if you want me to help you one-on-one privately with basically your own setup, whether it's live streaming, looping, we do obviously with the Boss Loopers. I've been doing loads of videos about them recently. If you want to help me with that, I also have something on that link where you can actually contact me, and we can do stuff one-to-one as a paid service. But also, at the same time, this video is sponsored by Restream. So if you do want to click that link, I'm using Restream Studio right now. I'm not using any external software. I'm just using Chrome. I've logged into Chrome and logged into Restream, and we're using Restream to do it. So if you want to have a look at that, Restream Studio is completely free. In fact, let me show you. So what we're going to do is let's get rid of that, and then we'll get that up. Okay, so let me just change it so you can see it a bit better. There we go. So I've just brought the pricing up. So Restream Studio, £0 and 0 pence, or 0 cents and $0 forever. You get started for free. 30 plus platforms for multi-streaming. That's over here. You've got compatible with Zoom, so you might want to use this, and then you could actually output the source to Zoom, which is cool if you're doing Zoom calls, you're doing Zoom tutorials. OBS is what I normally use, but I'm kind of using it less and less now because this is so easy. You got obviously things like Elgato, XSplit, and then Restream Studio is what I'm using. And then you can do, let me just do that. There you go. So you can invite guests. So you can have a guest. You can have, I think, up to 6 guests or 8 guests on. The basic version comes without custom graphics, which is what I'm using, and it does include a Restream watermark, but there's no additional software needed at all. So if you want to start streaming in more than one place at the same time, then you can do. And they have this wonderful thing called Restream Chat, which I've got on the side here. Hannah's been talking to us, she was talking to us on YouTube. But if you're talking to me on Facebook as well, it's going to come up here as well. So everyone who's talking will actually come up on here. Unfortunately, when Trevor actually came in on Facebook, I hadn't got it all set up then. But if he was to talk now, for example, then it would come up on this chat. So you can do things like that. However, the standard one is $16 a month, and you get everything that's in free, plus you can actually stream to things like a custom channel. You can actually stream to things like a YouTube channel or Facebook channel, which is really, really useful. So the custom one, of course, you can stream to your own website directly, so you could do it completely privately, do private tutorials, for example. Streaming to Facebook pages or groups, you can do that, and it also records your stream for 6 hours and stored for 15 days. The next one is professional, and this is what I'm on, and this is what I use because I think it is worth it. It's totally worth. If you're going to do streaming, you're going to multi-stream to loads of people, and you want your own graphics, and you want it to look as professional as you can, this is it. So it's $41 a month, but basically, if you think about that for a second, if you're a musician, how many gigs you do and what you get paid for gigs in a year, that is nothing in compared to if you're going to basically, if I was to charge X amount, you could do so many gigs and it would pay for it annually. And you could do as many restreams as you want to. So 3 custom platforms or extra channels. No Restream branding whatsoever, so you can take all the branding off, and use Restream Studio Pro with custom logos and custom graphics, and that's what I'm using here. So you can see around me, all around here, there's this cool like purpley stuff going on, and that's one of the graphics, for example. So I can change that over to something else, so I can actually have a different graphic, which is a video on, or I can have something like a static one, where it's just static and purple or orange, whatever you want. You can have these lovely static things. I really like this one. I think it's really lovely. So there's loads of that, and also you can record as well. Plus, there's some more benefits and features for going for the professional one. So, should you wish to do this, remember it is free. It's completely free. There is no obligation to go up to these ones unless you want all these different added features. And if you want to go for it, by all means, sign up. And what you can do by signing up is we've got this link. So the link's in the description box below, and on both YouTube and Facebook Live. So if you want to click that link, jump on Music UK $10, and what that means is you're going to get $10 of Restream credit, which can go towards your either standard or professional use if you want to. But if you just want to use it for free, click the link anyway, and then you're going to get $10 should you decide to go up further. And that $10 stays on your account forever. So you can use that whenever you're ready. But the basic one is completely free, and it's really useful. So if you want to do a bit of live streaming as a musician, click the link, and obviously you can start live streaming. So we are talking about today iOS and Mac musicians, or basically using iOS or Mac technology to record or to stream, and how you plug in, what you plug in. So if I want to plug this in, I want to plug my audio interface in, I want to plug my microphone in, I want to plug my guitar in, how do I do that? Well, you're going to need some adapters. You're going to need something that actually connects from that to an iPad or an iPhone or a Mac, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So if you've joined us right from the beginning, thank you very much, because you would have seen some of this that we've already done. But please don't leave, because if you've got any questions, please, now is the time to ask me. I'm going to be here for a little while, and we can go over anything you like. And I'm going to show a closer look at a couple of different things and how I use them. So if you've got questions about that, please ask me. I'm always told I talk too fast and I don't drink enough. I don't do gaps in the middle. Should do gaps and have a drink and slow down. So on that basis, let's start with Apple adapters. So Apple adapters are the basic thing that you need. So we've talked about this a couple of times tonight, which is the Lightning to USB 3 adapter. If you're a musician, this is my little tip. Do not get the USB 2 one. Won't work because most devices need power. The power comes from, so certainly an audio interface, it will come up with a message on your device saying this device is drawing too much power, that you can't use it. So there's one that's a USB 2 one, so it's a little bit thinner and it's just the USB on the end. This is USB 3 and it comes with power as well. Plug it in and it'll give you power to your iPhone, for example, and the audio interface at the same time, which is really good. So that is it's called the camera adapter because originally you meant to plug in a camera and you can transfer your photos over. So that's really useful. If you're on USB-C, so you're on a MacBook or you're on one of the latest iPads, then this is the multi-port adapter, so USB-C, and it gives you USB-C back, which is just at the top there, HDMI in the middle, and USB-A, which again is USB 3, and that is the Apple multi-port adapter. However, they are great and they're fantastic. That is an absolute godsend if you're on Lightning. However, if you are taking it up a step, then what you'll need to do is you can have a look at a couple of different things. Starting with this. This is the Hyperdrive. I have reviewed this when it came out on Kickstarter, and it actually is like that. It's kind of like, it's just that bit really. And you can add this on. This is a dongle adapter. So it's a dongle, and you take that on, you literally plug it onto the iPad, USB-C or MacBook, and it gives you USB-C back, USB-A 3, HDMI at the end, and then the micro SD and SD card reader just all there, and a headphone port. So very, very useful if you want to just basically plug your headphones in, and while you're plugging the keyboard in, that's really useful. You can do that. And then if you want to plug an audio interface in, of course, most audio interfaces now have a headphone out jack, which is 1/4 inch, not mini jack. So if you're doing any kind of mixing or you're literally listening to recordings that you're doing, obviously that is mini jack, but most headphones, I've got my Sennheisers, they've got both. So, but by default, most people use a 1/4 inch jack, and then that's it. However, obviously you could plug an audio interface in, but if I want to plug an audio interface in and my keyboard at the same time, they're both USB-A. So that's only one USB-A that you've got there. So I did a tiny 3-minute review, I think 3 or 4 minute review on the channel a little while back with this. This is USB-C. I'll try that again. That's USB-C. And you've got 4 USB-A 3s. And it's £12 on Amazon, and it works. It really does work. The only downside of this is you can't push power back through it. So it'll take the power from, let's say, for example, the iPad Pro, but then it does drain the iPad Pro the more you plug in. So if you plug an audio interface in, then you plug this keyboard in, then I plug in, I don't know, like a hard drive that needs power. It'll power it all through, but then it drains the iPad down pretty quickly. However, if you're in a pinch and you just need a couple of extra USBs, this is great, and it's only £13, I think it is. The links are in the description box if you want to check it out. Really, really good. So that's really cool. The next one after that, we've talked about it more than once, but basically is this one by 12 South called the Staygo. So this gives you 3 USB-As and power as well, and Ethernet and HDMI. So imagine you want to live stream and you've basically want to plug in directly to the Ethernet for the fastest route possible. That gives you it all. It really does. It's really cool. USB-C with pass-through power, but at the same time, what you do is it's got a 1 meter USB-C cable, so it doesn't hang off the side of your iPad. It doesn't hang off the side of your MacBook. However, should you need to be on the go and take this with you, it's got a little cable like built in, which is really cool. It's a little on-the-go cable. So that's that one. And then the other one is something completely different, and this is more to do with live streaming more than recording yourself. You can do this with recording yourself, but you have to get the levels right. An audio interface is really there for recording yourself at the highest quality possible, taking the feed in, and then you mix it down later. If you're looking at live streaming, though, if you plug an audio interface in, I had loads of questions when I did the video all about basically live streaming for musicians about plugging. I used that is my Roland KC1 keyboard amp. And it's got a line out in the keyboard amp. So it's like taking a stereo out and plugging that into your audio interface. So all the audio interface is getting is a left and a right, balanced. If you were to plug your microphone straight into an audio interface on channel 1 and your guitar straight into an audio interface on channel 2, then the microphone's going to come out the left ear and the guitar is going to come out the right ear. You want something to balance that out. That's why I plugged from my stuff into that first and then out to an audio interface. The other advantage as well is I do live looping, so I want to hear what I'm looping, so I'm in time, so I need a speaker anyway to listen to myself. However, if you haven't got that and you want to plug in and you haven't got an audio interface and you haven't got all that, then a USB mixer is the next option. So this is the Behringer USB mixer. This is the Q802. There's a 502, which is 5 channels. This is 8 channels. And the whole point of this is you plug in as if you're doing it live streaming, live gigging. You can use it as a gig as well. You just don't have to plug it in USB, but it's USB 2. So USB 2 there, and it gives you a stereo out just as I would from the amp, and then you can basically live stream. So as long as you've got the mix right, you can plug your headphones in if you want, or you can plug a speaker in, or your PA, and then as long as you've got the mix right, it will sound correct going out to your live stream. And what this also does mean as well is you can actually monitor it, and also you can adjust the EQ. Sorry, one right there. The EQ just here. So you can adjust the EQ so maybe your vocal is a little bit bassy. You can turn that down. You can't do that with an audio interface. The audio interface is just taking the feed in at the highest quality it can, and then the whole point is you mix it down later on software like a digital audio workstation like GarageBand or Cubase or anything like that. This is basically more for live use, but then with the USB, you can plug it in and then live stream. Also, you've got little meters. So the little meters here, then you know if it's clipping, so you can dial it back a bit. And if someone says, oh, your microphone's not loud enough, you can turn the microphone while turn the keyboard, for example. That's very, very useful. The other two we talked about right at the beginning of the live stream. The other thing we talked about right at the beginning of the live stream, a hard drive. And if you're doing a load of music making, then you might clog up your device, whether it's a Mac or an iPad, or even if you're using a phone. You can plug in hard drives with the latest version of iOS. Of course, you've always been able to do that with a computer. And loads of people talk about lots of different devices. That I've said before, the Samsung T5 is a really fast device, but it's quite expensive. This is actually, and again, I'm not sponsored by these, but I do have an affiliate link. But Basics is Crucial, and Crucial are known for RAM with your increasing the device, or buying an internal hard drive. An external one. This is a 1 terabyte SSD. Okay, it's called the X8. Look at the size of it. It's tiny. It's really tiny. It's smaller than a mouse. And you plug it in. I can plug it directly into an iPad Pro, or I can plug it directly into a computer that's USB-C, or an iPad Air, the new Air, for example. And I can transfer stuff off onto it. If you're doing stuff like, for example, video editing, you can. There's a package which is called LumaFusion, and soon next month you'll be able to edit directly off a hard drive without up the internals of your iPad, which is really good. Something like that, the Crucial X8 is really cool. They do an X6, which is not as fast. Oh yeah, and that's the other thing as well. This is a 1050 megabyte read-write speed. So there's loads of them out there that are cheaper, but there actually hasn't got the speed to actually support things. So you can get ones that are like sort of like 400-500 megabyte read-write speed. This is 1,000. This 1,000 megabyte read-write speed is really, really quick, and it's soon probably going to become more standard. Certainly, if you're doing stuff for HD or 4K, so definitely worth it. Or if you just want to store a load of songs that you've made on GarageBand or Cubase, of course, once you've recorded a load of WAV files, they take up a load of space as well. So that is very, very useful. And the other thing as well, which is a little bit of a left-wing one that we're talking about earlier on, is the Shadowcast. And this is made by a company called Genki. I actually got this just on Kickstarter a couple of weeks back. And the whole idea of this actually is to plug in a games console into your Mac. So or your PC. So what you can do is, like, say you've got a games console and you haven't got a monitor, you can plug it into, but you've got your computer. You can plug it into your computer, and then you can play your games and use your computer as a games console, technically, because what you're doing is you're using it as a screen. So this is really cool. But the idea I got for this was so I could actually use the iPad on the computer, so I can see it bigger, so I could position it in such a way where you can use it so I could see all the chats. Let's say I'm using my iPhone for live streaming and using the good camera. The good camera's on the back. This is an iPhone 10, by the way, and therefore basically this little dongle with the right connections, with the right adapters, I can plug this in and then use the cable here to plug into the computer, and I can see what it sees. So if you're on Facebook, for example, and the live stream comes up and people are commenting on the side, you can use that and you can actually see it. So it's really useful. So that's some adapters. Obviously, if you're doing anything like live streaming, obviously you're going to need things like a camera. You're going to need, you don't need a camera. If you've got an iPhone or if you've got anything like a mobile device, you can live stream. I'm doing that right now. This is an iPhone 10. It's 3 years old. It does have a lens on it just to make it a bit wider. And I've got that plugged directly into my computer. And using a little app which is called Epoch Cam, and I did a review of that. Now Epoch Cam has been bought by a bigger company. It's the Elgato. It's the company that basically do all gaming and stuff like that, and live stream gaming stuff, and they sell all the live stream game stuff. But they bought that and it made it so much better. And now Restream Studio knows what that is, so you just pick it as an option for your camera. So instead of picking the Mac camera, the tiny little camera that's on the front of the Mac, I can pick this, and it's much better quality because it's the iPhone cameras are of great quality, as you can see. And I've got my other iPhone here as well, so what I can do is I can dial into this one and bring it in, so you can see both there. So if I wanted to put one of the products just here, for example, there you go. You can see that. You can say hello to Spider-Man, Mr. Potato Head, if you wish. And if I was to put something there, but imagine, for example, this is just like as if I'm doing a product review, but imagine, for example, you're doing a music live stream. You could actually have this one pointing at you. You could have that one, for example. It's not plugged into anything. It's just dialed into Restream.io. And you have that, for example, there you go there, or we could have it either side or move it across, or we can have it on like screen like that, for example, or I can switch them round so they're the other way around if I wanted to as well. So that's really useful. And you don't need like a digital SLR to go live streaming. All my filming for my YouTube channel has all been done on iPhone. It's all iPhones that I use from my old phone, which is this is my daily phone. This is the 12 mini. This is the cheapest 12 you can get, and the quality of the camera is fabulous. And I edit everything on an iPad. I don't use the Mac for anything other than doing this, or if I'm doing tutorials on the Mac. I still edit them on the iPad afterwards. So guys, we're just coming up to the hour. So we've been online for an hour now. And if you've got any questions regarding accessories, or in fact anything that we do regarding plugging in, recording yourself like for making the song, or looking at live streaming, please let me know in the comment section below, or beside you, the chat. If you want to go on the live chat, basically go over there and you'll bring your live chat up on the screen next to me just here. And if you've got any questions, please ask. So in the meantime, if you want to follow me on all the socials, you can do. It's John Paul Music UK. I'm on obviously lots of different places, from Facebook to YouTube to Twitch to Instagram to Twitter, all these different places. And if you want to support the channel a little bit further, you can do. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/John Paul Music UK. And also on there as well, if you want my help, one-on-one help, we can do a video call together where I can help you with that, whether it's setting up your live stream right through to helping you with looping with one of the looping pedals, or if you just want to have a look at, I need help with connections. And this is all the part and parcel of this live stream for today. Now, this live stream also is sponsored, and it's sponsored by our good friends over at Restream themselves. Now, I'm using Restream Studio. I'm not using any software like OBS. I've just logged in on Chrome to restream.io, and I'm using their software. I'm using their technology, which is amazing. It's called Restream Studio. This is Restream Studio Pro, which is the Pro version, but you can use Restream Studio completely for free, and it's completely free. So the sponsored link that's under me now here, but it's also in the description box below, gives you $10 of Restream credit should you want to go to the standard or professional version. However, the basic version is completely free. So have a look at that link, sign up for free, you might as well, and then obviously using that link, and then you're going to get $10 anyway. You may never use it, but if you do go up to the standard or professional, it's going to make it a little bit cheaper for you. So you can do great things like this. You can have the Restream chat. So the problem with restreaming to one place or streaming to one place is if you stream on YouTube and you've got lots of followers on Facebook and they want to talk to you, or if you've got people on Facebook and you're streaming basically there, but you've got loads of people, you've got a YouTube following, then if one can't talk to the other, or you've got to stream in two different places at the same time, this means you've got to stream once, and also it means that the guys and girls can all talk to you here, and you can basically, whoever's talking will actually come up on the chat, which is great. So I just wanted to show you that, and also obviously because it's sponsored. So thank you very much, Restream, obviously, for helping us with this, and also any of the links that you see in the description box, they are affiliate links. So I do have to mention that because obviously I do get some money from those affiliate links, but it's at no cost to you. But I do have to mention those links are affiliated. Apart from one, because it's the Genki one, because it's still on Kickstarter. So I just wanted to put the link up there so you could see it, which is the Shadowcast. So if you've got any questions regarding plugging in, then obviously give me a shout, let me know. If you have missed this live stream completely and you are watching going, God, I wish I could have asked him a question, put it in the comment section below. It'll be on Facebook. Put it on the comment section and I will answer them as fast as humanly possible. The last little bit I want to talk to you about is the simplicity of actually plugging in now. It used to be really difficult a couple of years ago where things wouldn't talk to one another, even on Apple, even on Mac, where you plug stuff in and you don't necessarily need drivers on Mac way more than you do on Windows, but or even Android, for example. But the way you can plug stuff in now is just so simple. Something like this is the combination of a couple of years worth of people going, do you know what, it's going to be, you have what we call a multi-user now. So a multi-user is someone who uses more than one product. So obviously if you're plugging in multiple devices, things like I need to plug this into my Mac, but I also need to use it with my iPad. That's a multi-user. And then also you've got basically, I need to plug in a keyboard, I need to plug in a microphone, I need to plug in a hard drive, things like this, like the Stego from 12 South, and things like the multi-port adapters. That is because of the way we use it. And musicians and performers who have stuff where you're plugging in musical instruments, or you're plugging in microphones for podcasts or for tutorials or guitars, you're plugging in things like that. It really makes a difference now, certainly in 2021, than it was a couple of years ago. I certainly couldn't live stream a good couple of years back with an iPhone, and just I could go to, say, YouTube Live and just use the iPhone, but then trying to plug in like a microphone, you need a lot of kit. Now you can get a USB to Lightning a microphone that plugs directly in to an iPhone without any dongles whatsoever or any extra plugging in. So things like the Shure MV88 plugs in on the side, and it's just a little directional microphone that you can plug in. You can plug in microphones that have got the cable, and then you can still have it like above you or like this on the side. So there's so many out there now, and it's really a great thing. Also, audio interfaces were only geared towards studios. It was always a studio, and now it's kind of like, well, your studio is with you. It's an iPad or it's a phone. Look at a guy called Steve Lacy, Lacy. He made his very first album all on iPhone with GarageBand, nothing extra apart from a little interface which is called an iRig to plug his guitar and a bass in, and even sung through the iPhone microphone, which is insane if you think of quality, and you think of like, oh, I need a big microphone, and I need a big room, and I need a studio, and I need all this stuff. You can do it. You can do it with just basically that very, very minimal equipment. As I said, last year in January, we did a video all about basically making a song from idea to release, and it was all done on iPad. There was not a traditional computer in sight, and we used GarageBand, which is free. So that's the other thing as well. Technology pricing has come down. It used to be, that you needed to pay money to go into a studio to record, and of course you can still do that at the highest quality possible, but now you can get just as high quality for an audio interface, which maybe costs a couple of £100 as opposed to one that costs £30, but you can still get the same quality. That audio interface maybe 4 years ago could have cost way over £1,000. So the price of these kind of technologies is coming down all the time, and that's only a fantastic thing. Certainly through the pandemic and the way everyone's been with the pandemic, it's either been, oh my goodness, I can't gig anymore, or oh my goodness, I can't do what I normally do, and people have either sunk or swim with it, and they've either gone, well, let's change it around, let's do live streaming, or let's record from home, let's record our bit and then send it over to the bassist that he records his bit, and then let's send it over to the saxophonist, they do their bit, and then we'll bring it all back together and mix it. So lots of remote work, and I think the world's obviously changed, I think, for the better, in the sense of being able to have more options open to you. No one wants a pandemic. I don't want a pandemic. I'm not saying that right now, but I think it's really great the way we were able to, when we were squeezed a little bit in the sense of creativity, the creative world and the creative community just pushed back, and we've done some amazing things. That's my little 5-minute rant about basically how technology is changing right before our very eyes. Looking towards the future, obviously looking at things like the new, certainly with Apple, looking at things like the M1 chip, and like that's going into the new iPad, it's going into the new iMac, it's gone into the new MacBook Pro. They are faster than ever, and it just, when something slows down, your creativity slows down. So something's really, really fast, then you just don't stop. You just keep going, and it's great. There's an app that's been out for a couple of years now, which I'm going to be doing a review on very, very soon, which is called Ravencroft 275. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's an iOS app where you can basically get a Ravencroft piano. If you don't know how much a Ravencroft piano is, go and check it out before you actually judge the app, because the Ravencroft piano starts at £200,000, and it is like the top creme de la creme of quality that you can get in the sense of real pianos. And they've spent a long time, the people who did it, which is UVI, spent a long time with lots of microphones recording and sampling the Ravencroft to give that for you. And I think the app is like £15. I couldn't even rent a Ravencroft, let alone anything like that, but through the process of technology, you can play a Ravencroft. I can play it right here with an iPad. So, guys, thank you very much for joining us today. I'm going to wrap this up, and if anyone's got any questions and you've missed it live, please put your comments in the comments section below. Thank you very much for watching, and this has all been brought to you by Restream Studio. The link I've left up on the screen there. So if you do want to start streaming yourself, it's completely free, but however, I'm going to be able to give you $10 when you actually sign up, should you go up to one of the paid tiers. So, guys, thank you very much for watching, and let me just do one thing here. There we go. And we'll just turn that over to there. There we go. Social comments. Oh, yeah, I forgot to turn that there. There we go. So, guys, thank you very much for watching. Have a good rest of your weekend, wherever you are, and I hope you stay safe.